In this video, I managed to find shiny forms of every Scarlet Paradox Pokemon in 5 hours. I know a lot of people like to make videos on how they find their Paradox Pokemon like full odds, but in this video I decided to do the complete opposite and find as many Paradox Pokemon as I could with max odds. And there really isn't that much to explain when it comes to these odds. The odds are about 1 in 700. With a Shiny Charm and a Sparkling Sandwich, there are no outbreaks in Area 0, so with that being said, I decided to go in Pokédex order, which means our first stop is leading us to Great Tusk. Really quickly, while I'm making this sandwich, I'll explain how the time in the bottom left works. The numbers in the parentheses are how far into the sandwich I am, and I'm just gonna add these together at the end of like every clip. So 15 minutes into my first sandwich and I didn't find any shinies. I contemplated jumping to the bottom of the cave because there's like the little spawn rock that people use for isolated encounters. But it's a good thing I didn't, because literally like 10 seconds later, I found a shiny Great Tusk. It like spawned off to the side behind like a crystal, so like in another world, I probably felt this shiny. So it gave me trouble when trying to catch it for a little bit. I think I used like maybe like 7 Ultra Balls. I tried a few Dusk Balls, and it didn't want to stay in the ball, but luckily, I mean I shouldn't say luckily because they happen a lot in this game. I did eventually get a critical capture, and now we have our shiny. I spent the last 12 minutes or so of my sandwich looking for other shinies. Didn't find any. It was a bit unfortunate, but um, I don't know how to describe this. I have no clue how this happened, and quite frankly, I don't want to know how it happened either. So let's just ignore it. We can just go to a different teleporter. Easy, right? I was followed for the rest of this shiny hunting. So next we move on to the Jigglypuff Paradox form, Screamtail, who has a pretty simple sandwich recipe. If you mess this up, it's a bit of a skill issue. Oh, well, I mean, I only missed one tomato. Surely that doesn't mess up the whole recipe. It does. That's exactly what it does. Anyways, let's find us a shiny Screamtail. So I spent almost the full 30 minutes running into Pokemon that I swear were not even on my screen, checking every fuzzy balloon for red eyes, and I just couldn't find a shiny. But remember I said almost the full 30 minutes. Last 2 minutes of this sandwich, we got ourselves a shiny Screamtail. So far, we're 2 for 2 on sandwiches, even though we cut this one kind of close. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Some of these shiny hunts get a little wacky. I'm looking at you, Sandy Shocks. One more little secret. This is the last sandwich that I only get one shiny from. So, Brute Bonnet, pretty simple one to hunt. Either sandwich type works, grass or dark. I would suggest against doing a grass sandwich though, because to my knowledge, there's no other grass types in Area 0. And my sandwich luck has actually been pretty insane, not even gonna lie to you. After about 17 minutes of looking for the grass dinosaur creature, a shiny one spawned. Right in front of me, actually. I don't really make this whole catching process easy for myself at all. I don't use any status effects, and I'm scared to do damage. So, our buddy here took like 2, 3 full minutes to catch. But after catching Brute Bonnet, I had 13 minutes left on my sandwich. So, I mean, why not try my luck in the Roaring Moon Cave? The only problem with me doing that, there are so many dark types here. There's more dark types here roaming around in general than there are dragon types, which is why people use dragon sandwiches when they come here. But this dark sandwich led us to our little buddy here, 25 minutes down into the sandwich. I was able to catch her off with one quick ball, so after 1 hour and 30 minutes, we have 3 shiny Paradox Pokemon and a little buddy to go with them. So the tricky part about Flutter Mane is that you only get one sandwich to find it. The nighttime cycle in this game is 72 minutes, 33 of those minutes being nighttime, and that's the only time you can force only Flutter Mane to spawn. Basically what that means is, if you don't get your shiny during your 30-minute sandwich, you have to wait 40 minutes before you can even try it again. Unfortunately, I was not a part of the upper class, the lucky few. After my 30 minutes, I did not find a shiny Flutter Mane, so for now we're just gonna skip it. And I know I said that Screamtail was the last sandwich that I only got one shiny on. Technically, not a lie. I didn't get any shiny. For Slitherwing, make a fighting sandwich. Save yourself the trouble. Bug sandwiches will spawn Venomoth 85% of the time, and if you make a fighting sandwich, you have a chance of going and finding a great tusk as well. A good place to find Slitherwings is the underpass between area stations 1 and 2. So many of them spawn. You'll get an occasional Metatite horde, an occasional Palmy horde, but those don't spawn nearly as often as these Slitherwings do. With the amount of Slitherwings spawning, I would have been greatly surprised if it took more than one sandwich to find a shiny Slitherwing, but I was even more surprised that it only took 8 minutes. It has been 8 minutes. The past me could not believe that happened. So with 20 minutes left, I decided to go find another shiny. I had a Manky outbreak, so I decided why not. I do already have a shiny Annihilate, but who knows. Maybe I'll end up giving these away or something. So, after KOing my 60 Mankeys, that drops my odds down to about 1 in 500 of finding a shiny. And 15 minutes after my Slitherwing, I did find a green Manky. He was a level 17 Manky, so obviously he was not very difficult to catch. So that marks the end of the 5th sandwich, meaning we're 2.5 hours down, and we've only missed on one sandwich so far. So at this point, I was just trying to track the time so I could go on another Flutter Mane attempt, but I'm not good with time. And I overshot by 20 minutes, which means it's been over 10 minutes since I was supposed to use my next sandwich to go get a Flutter Mane, giving me about 20-ish minutes if I really wanted to attempt this time. So I'm already guaranteed to not get to use my full 30 minutes of sandwich looking for a Flutter Mane, so I could either just go for the 20-minute chance, or just wait a whole nother hour to try again. Or, a third option, I guess I could just choose to find the shiny in 2 minutes. I was definitely not prepared for this. I panicked a little bit, and I would play the shiny sparkles, but I can't because I screamed over them. Talk about a redemption arc though. Like, this went from being the first sandwich fail to the fastest sandwich find. Gotta love that. But with 27 minutes to spare, I decided to go do another outbreak because why not? I'm not just gonna waste the sandwich. I found a Frostlass outbreak, and I have quite literally never owned a shiny Frostlass, so why not? So, about half a sandwich later, I KO'd about 40 Frostlass before something in the corner of my eye looked a little less orange than usual. Well, I mean, I got jumped by Frostlass, but there's a shiny one there. You can see the difference. So after catching my Frostlass, nothing happened for the rest of the sandwich, and it's time to move on to the goofiest hunt I've ever had. Sandy Shocks is another one where it doesn't matter which sandwich you use. If you use an electric one, Raichus will spawn. You use a ground one, Phanpies will spawn. Just whichever one you want to deal with. And with the way this sandwich started, I should have known that this is going to be a little silly, but I didn't heed the warnings. Okay, well that's a shiny, and it's been 4 minutes. Get off of me. Get off of me. No. No. No, the shiny one's gonna get away. Okay, yeah, luckily for me it didn't get away. I don't know if you could hear the panic in my voice, but best believe there was panic there. Past me was not a fan of that. Anyways, heart attack aside, I did end up finding a shiny Sandy Shocks in 4 minutes, and I guess it tried to compete with the Flutter Mane time, but fell short just a little bit. So, like what I have been doing for the past few sandwiches, I have 25 minutes left, so I decided to go find an outbreak to do, and I found a Camerupt outbreak. So after KOing my 60 Camerupt, I finally ended up finding a shiny Scyther. Yeah, so during a Camerupt outbreak with a ground sparkling sandwich, I found a shiny Scyther. You know what, that's fine. That's okay, because the outbreak's not gonna go anywhere. I just have to get Camerupt next. I mean, I've already done everything I can, so surely I'll get one. This is a very silly game. But you know, this is fine too. I mean, I still have the highest odds to find a shiny Camerupt from this outbreak. Unfortunately, I guess shiny Camerupt just wasn't meant to be. I got down to about 30 seconds on my sandwich, no shiny in sight, and I have a very strong hatred for this game sometimes. Anyways, now it's time to move on to our last Paradox Pokemon, Roaring Moon. Now you may have remembered how after that Numel I was at 3.5 hours done, but you also may have remembered how I said I found all of them in 5 hours, and not 4. I'm sure you can imagine how this is about to go. Alright, first Dragon Sandwich. Took us 10 minutes to find our first shiny, and spoiler alert, it's not a Roaring Moon. But there's so many dragons that spawn here. Gibble, Gabite, Zweilous spawns. So, the first shiny we actually found here, we're gonna pretend like this never happened. We never actually saw this Golduck. I don't even know what a Golduck is. Yeah, so anyway, it took us 17 minutes to find our first shiny from this sandwich, which ended up being a shiny Zweilous, which, I mean, makes a lot more sense than something like, I don't know, like a Golduck? That would make sense, but unfortunately, this Zweilous is the only shiny I ended up with from this first sandwich. I don't know if I'd call it a worthy trade-off, but I mean, I've already caught it, so I guess we'll just have to make another one. So that brings us to our 9th sandwich, which brought us to another shiny Zweilous. And I only have 4 of these, so I guess it wouldn't hurt to have one more. But there's only so many shinies I can run into before the game gives me a shiny Roaring Moon, right? Like, totally not just luck dependent. I won't be here for the next hour. Haha. That's a shiny Gibble. AKA, not a shiny Roaring Moon. At least it's new though, right? So yeah, 2 minutes after my last Zweilous, I found a shiny Gibble. So, I mean, the shiny sandwich is working great. It's just giving me the wrong Pokemon. But as you can see from that time in the bottom left, this sandwich isn't over. 7 minutes after the Gibble, 22 minutes into the sandwich, we found one more shiny. And this shiny just so happened to be another Gibble. Oh boy, was my mental shattered. Before this, it hadn't taken me more than 2 sandwiches to find what I was looking for. This was also like 4 in the morning, and I haven't been to sleep. So yeah, my mental was pretty much gone. So, with as sleep deprived as I was, I decided I would make one more sandwich just to get to the full 5 hours, and then I would try again tomorrow if I needed to. Oh my god, I wanna cry. 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 Oh my goodness, I want. Ah. Oh my goodness. If you've never heard a man feel mentally destroyed after playing a video game, now you have. I finally found my shiny roaring moon. And with that roaring moon caught, that means I'm done with this challenge. I can finally get out of this cave that I've been in for 2 hours almost. Yeah, it would be way too poetic and cool for Roaring Moon to be the last shiny of this video. So the last one actually ended up being a third Gibble. Nice. So with that Gibble out of the way, challenge is completed. I have found all of the Paradox Pokemon shiny in 5 hours, managing to also obtain 12 other shiny Pokemon, all just from sandwiches except 2 of them, being Manky and Frostlast from Outbreaks. But yeah, I did indeed have fun with this challenge until I had to find a Roaring Moon. But I mean, that's the thrill of shiny hunting, right? You never know how lucky you're actually gonna get. And with that being said, I can do this again with Pokemon Violet. I did only do Scarlet in this video. So, I mean, I guess just let me know, and I'll do this with Pokemon Violet as well.